Hopefully by now you have completed writing your research paper. You've kept track of all of the source material that you've used, whether it was an internet source or a book source or an online journal source. And as you know, we have cited 3 so far. So we had 2 web sources. One of these is actually taken from an online journal, but we'll discuss that in a moment. And that was Roman Women. This was a web source. And we also have a book source. So we're addressing several different types of citations because there are differences with each. What I like to do as I'm writing my research paper and as I'm compiling my sources, especially with web sources, I copy and paste the URL into my paper, into the end of the paper. I also keep note of the date that I accessed each source. These are things that are required in your citation, and it might be hard to recall the date that you actually visited this website, so it's good to take note of any website that you visit. Books don't really go anywhere once they're in your possession. So in terms of our websites, I've got the URLs saved. You can also bookmark them. You could also make them favorite websites, but this is a great way of keeping all of your sources together. I do have these open already, so what I can do is either, had I not had these open, copy and paste from my collection here of sources, and I would open them in these windows. So this is that website, and all we need to do is copy the URL, go to www.easybib.com. This is a fantastic resource online. All you would need to do is enter information, and if you're lucky, if you're working with credible websites, .org websites, .edu websites, in most cases this will populate the citation for you. If not, you might have to figure out how to populate different fields, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So we'll paste our URL, and then it asks us to confirm or modify information below because this may not be perfect. The source type is correct. We have material published from a website. The article title is called "In Support of the Opium Law." However, we've got a very long title here. We can simplify this. The author is, we could just call him Cato the Censor, because he really doesn't have a middle initial. We can add another contributor. However, this contributor would be an editor, because we do have information on this website. The editor's name is William Jennings Bryan, noted as the editor. William J. What's his last name? Bryan. The website title was "In Support of the Opium Law." We can include this if you'd like by Cato the Censor. This becomes a little bit of too much information. Publisher or sponsor, you'd always go back to the website. A good place to look for a sponsoring company or a publishing company is at the bottom of the page. We don't really, well, we have copyright bartleby.com, so we could cite this source as being their responsibility. Wrong site here. So we could say the publisher or sponsor is bartleby.org. We have, well, I'm sorry, it should be .com. The URL is already here since we entered it. We will scroll down. It was electronically published or last updated, you would want to find out, in 2012. So sometimes you will be lacking a day and a month, sometimes all you'll be able to enter is a year. The date that we accessed this was, say, the 9th of June, 2012. It won't always be the current date that you're working with when you actually build the website. You must be current with the date of the site when you visited it, and then we'd click on Create Citation. And there you have it. Citing websites can be a little bit difficult because website information can vary from page to page. Sometimes you won't get much info in terms of author name, publication date, who the copyright belongs to, but you have to try your best to first off select credible websites, and then hope that you'll be able to do this easily. Okay, so we've made this Times New Roman. It is double-spaced. What we need to do is we could format this independently because it is its own source. Each line after the first in a works cited page citation needs to have the second line indented. So we indent the second line. We'll also indent the third line so that we know that this site is one source. With this particular source, we luck out a little bit. If you went back to visit it, you would find that this came from Gale, which is an online journal database. Many high schools actually subscribe to this, so with any journal, online journal that is academic in nature, like this source, it's a great web source, they will often give you source citations at the bottom of the article. This is an easy way out of actually using easybib.com, and you will get it right every time. So we'll do that for this. Be aware of that. Many of you do need to use, are required to use a journal source. So this is what you would do to cite your journal source. Very, very easy. Once again, we need to format this. This is the first line of your source. Note that there was no author name. So the same way that we used the article title in your in-text citation, the article title is what will begin your citation in the works cited page. So this will match up with your in-text citation. Cato the censor's name will match up with your in-text citation for that source. Once more, the second and third lines need to be indented, and then we'll have two sources. We need to do a couple things. Before we do the last couple of fixes, we'll add our last source, which was a book source. Citing books is fantastically easy. On EasyBib, you can do this. Click on the book tab. It's a little bit different than a website. You might notice, I deleted it too quickly, but it said you can enter the ISBN for the book. It's a number that every book has its own unique ISBN number. This is the easiest way to cite a book using this online source. So entering 081-203-5739 is the ISBN number for our book, the James Durbin Easy Reader version of William Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. We click Cite This, and here we have it. This is exactly what we read in class. Select this source, and you will find that it's already populated all the information that we need. All you'd have to do is create the citation, and then steal the citation from EasyBib. So they've done all the work for us. Okay, and then we will paste this in. We will match our formatting. It's a single line, therefore there's no need to indent any other line. A couple of things to tweak before we are completely finished. The first is, of course, to title our works cited page. You could do this first, or you can do this now. It should be plain text, as is the rest of your paper, capital WORKS. For some reason this is bold, and that would be incorrect. Space, CITED. Be sure you're spelling this correctly. Also be sure, what is going on here? Oops. Also be sure that it is perfectly centered by using the Center tab here. There is no extra space between the works cited page title and the first citation, so you wouldn't want a gap like that. There is also no extra space between each citation, so this should run smoothly, double-spaced. Nothing funky, nothing special, all plain text, all double-spaced, as is the rest of your paper. One last thing needs to be done, and that is making sure that all of your sources are alphabetized. We've got a W here, we've got a C here, we've got an S here. Clearly the C will go first, so we do need to reorganize this. It's something that you can do from the get-go. It's something that you could do now. S comes before W, so we would need to switch this with our Women in Rome source. And there you have it. The works cited page is complete. It is formatted appropriately. It is in alphabetical order. those are things that you will see on your rubric, and if you're missing an alphabetical order, if you're missing a formatting detail, this will affect your grade. And again, this page should be numbered, and if this page should be a part of your actual research paper, it should be the very last page, so that your page numbers continue and all of the page numbering is correct. And that's pretty much it for your research paper. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that this helps. If you need additional aid with the Works Cited page, below this video there's a downloadable sample page that you can use as a reference, and there's also some instructions.